This is your cassette. This is what's in the van. This bit here, that's where you're going to pour everything out from. This button here is important. If you don't hold that down, then when you pour things out of there, it's going to glug, 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 and not a great deal is going to happen. You're going to basically get an airlock in the back of the tank as you're pouring things out, and it doesn't really come out very easily. So you need to press that button in while you're tipping, and then that lets air in at the top so that the flow comes out nice and easily down this end. So I'll show you. Now then, this, you're going to take it off, but don't put it anywhere near the sewer or the toilet or whatever it is that you're pouring stuff into, because you're going to end up losing it down the drain. So put it somewhere out of reach, out of the way, where it's not going to get knocked into the drain. Right, so I've got clean water in this, and I'm going to try tipping it out without pressing the button. And what you'll see is that it'll glug, glug, glug as it comes out and the air tries to get back into the system. And what that'll actually do in practice is it'll make a lot of splashing. So if you imagine what's in here and it's splashing down there and coming back at you, you don't want that, do you? Okay, so we'll tip it. See how that's not really coming out properly? It's splashing a lot. So now I'm going to pour it, I'm going to hold that button in, and you'll see it'll just come out nice and smoothly. Okay, so always press that button in, keep it held in while you're tipping, and then it'll fill the air in the back of here, and it'll stop that glugging and splashing. So when you've tipped your contents out, you need to give it a bit of a rinse really, and there's usually, wherever you find these manhole covers, or sometimes sites have a toilet base, but usually there's some hose or other around with some water. You should never use it for drinking water, but there's usually some hose around to help you put a bit of water inside, give it a swirl around, and then tip it out again. And then when you've finished, it's always good etiquette to just clean up after yourself. Use the hose, wash down any debris that's there, just make sure it's not going to be a mess for the next person that needs to come and use it. So you would usually put some additive back in here, so that could be green or blue liquid. Sometimes people prefer to use biological washing machine tablets. So I've used both. I don't really have an opinion either way. So you can either put the liquid in here while you're here, or you can wait until you're back at the van. To be fair, I normally wait until it's back in the van and I put it actually down the toilet. But one thing you might find useful is this end cap here, depending on whether you're using liquid or not. This end cap is actually a measuring cap, and if you have a look on the side, there's actually some markings which will help guide you filling up various different quantities of liquids depending on what it says on the instructions. But generally with the liquids you put a certain amount inside and then you use it as normal. Something else to show you is this bit. So this bit, you generally have to lift that in order to pull it out of the side of the van. But it's not just a latch to hold it in place in the van. it actually comes all the way out. So you lift it and you pull it all the way out, and then it becomes a long handle to pull it along with. Now, it might seem obvious, but some people miss the fact that it's got wheels, and this can be quite handy, particularly if you've got a path between your van and where you're going to tip it. Don't forget the handle, because it saves you carrying it. They're quite heavy when they're full, aren't they? Let's put it back in the van.